What's going on with this head today, y'all? I was rushing, trying to get back in here. It's gonna have to be all right today, ain't it? But anyway, I'm gonna see if anybody come in real quick. Let's see. I'll give y'all a minute. What's up, everyone? Hopefully, y'all can hear me okay. Can y'all hear me pretty good? What's up, Freedom's March and the good brother Thomas? What's up, Eric? So happy to see y'all. Oh, hi, mommy. How are you? I'm so happy y'all are here. I got it. I already know what that RLC mean now, Freedom's March. Okay. Oh no, I remember Thomas. I know exactly who you are. That's that TD Sports Talk. I look, y'all. Let me tell y'all what happened real quick though. It's so funny. So my mommy had texted me. She didn't realize I had run to the store or whatever, right? And she had texted me at some point, and she's like, "BF is live," and I'm like, oh, "No," and so I literally was about to change the time for this one because I was like, "Oh no, my big brother's live," so I was gonna change like the whole date and everything. But then I think I looked and he had already ended, so I was like, "Okay." What's up, Hen Dog? Blessings to you. All right, y'all. So let's just jump to this. Y'all know I don't like to stay on long anyway. Y'all saw what it was about. Gaslighting. We hear that word so many times. I think gaslighting is no different than that buzzword we talk about of narcissist. That guy, he's a narcissist. We've talked about that in the past. But how often do y'all hear about gaslighting? Right? Oh, you're gaslighting me. Stop gaslighting me. Anybody ever experienced that? If y'all are able to type. I don't want y'all driving or doing anything and it's dangerous. I think we use gaslighting out of context. That dude, like it's really a buzzword, hen dog. And so, I did it with personality disorders. So that way everyone, the family would have a sound understanding of just what it really looks like, as opposed to what we may see in media or how it's depicted in various medias, right? So when we think of gaslighting, the first thing we want to think of, it's always going to involve, obviously, another party. It's communication. So it's always going to be the way that one communicates with someone. What does that mean? It doesn't always have to be an intimate relationship, y'all. It could actually be a work relationship, just family in general, right? Parental to child. What's up, DP Rocker? My music loving brother over there. And I really appreciate all of your videos so much. I do look forward to them. So I appreciate that, DP Rocker. So anybody that can type, when we say it's how we're engaging with others, and how we communicate, which one do you want to maybe start with? Let's go with, okay, typically we see it in intimate relationships. That's where we hear it a lot at, right? So I'm going to go with where I'm seeing it used more, out of context, if you will. Now, the concerning thing about gaslighting is that it actually is real, y'all. It's not like it's something that people are like making up or saying, oh my, this is just this thing that has just become so rampant throughout the lanes. No, it's real. It's really real. It has psychological evidence to prove it. Hi, Tay Tay. Is that some music to rock to, DP Rocker? What's up, beautiful Tay Tay? So when we see someone that says, they've been gaslighted, I want to first go with what it isn't. What it is not is just because that is true, Hindog. That is true. And that's why I was saying it can be any interaction with another person, right? Doesn't always have to be in an intimate relationship. Where I have seen it, though, a lot of times is, depicted in the media regarding intimate relationships, okay? Like marriages, couples, things like that. So I'm going to first tell you what it is not, okay? Let's go there first. So I'll give you an example. If Eric Jordan says to me, hey, Cam, such and such, such and such, such and such. I hear it, but maybe I just interpret it a little differently. And so then when I answer, he's like, fam, where'd you get that from? What did you mean by that? And then I reflect back to him what I, interpreted what he said and how I heard it. And he says, oh, no, that's not what I meant. And I say, oh, I just misinterpreted, i.e., just a miscommunication. That's not gaslighting. Okay, that's just a misunderstanding, miscommunication. Because that's when using the verbiage of saying someone is gaslighting you is totally incorrect. If someone you're saying every time they disagree with you, that's gaslighting. No. Anyone can have a difference of opinion, can they not? Yeah, they can have that. I mean, that's their God-given right. Thank you, DP Rocker. Yes, y'all got to check out the good brother because he be giving us, I be enjoying the music. And sometimes he'll take it way back. So thank you. Y'all make sure y'all go hit up his channel, subscribe to him. So just because someone, like I said, disagrees with you or sees something in a different light or offers a different perspective, they're not gaslighting you. I hope y'all are still with me. Because oftentimes that is the way it is depicted. And you constantly, you hear the person say, well, you need not be so sensitive. Just because someone says you are sensitive or they're perceiving your behavior to be overly sensitive, that doesn't always mean that they're gaslighting you. Now, in order for me to determine, and that's the problem, honestly, Hindal. So I'm going to always speak from the clinical perspective. I would not tell someone in my profession that they are being gaslighted or gaslighting if it has not been a pattern, right? When I say a pattern for us, it means the behavior has had to happen 3 or more times. We often hear my big brother BFTB often say, we're not going to put a jacket on nobody, right? Well, that's what we're doing. If we just automatically say, oh, they said I was being overly sensitive. They were gaslighting me. Oh, they said I didn't understand what they were saying. And I know I did. They were gaslighting me. No. And while it is, up for all in one's perception, I'm just giving you the framework of where this word even came from, which is psychology. Okay. And so just to have a sound understanding, no, it has to be something that is reoccurring all the time. But when it's demeaning and not in a critical way where a person can change, then That's gaslighting because the person can't have their own thoughts without getting influenced. Well, when it's demeaning and not in a critical way, where a person can change, then that's gaslighting because the person can't have their own thoughts without getting influenced. Well, that is one form of gaslighting. We just haven't got to what it looks like. You on it, hen dog. You on it. And what he's really saying is, can it be an illness? We wouldn't actually, what's up, Joseph Townsend? Bless you. Bless you. We wouldn't, like, I wouldn't actually meet with someone and say, okay, I've diagnosed you with gaslighting. No. What I would do, and where I have seen it present, is in some personality disorders. And so it may be a behavior or a symptom. You see what I'm saying, Tay Tay? It may be a behavior or symptom that follows that diagnosis. I hope that makes sense. All right, but I want to get back to what Hen Dog was saying. What's up, Shelton? Blessings to you. Okay, PMP Promotions, not in association with Domain Entertainment. You are so funny. And you know how I feel about that legacy. We are everywhere they're not. I'm not going to do it today, Shelton. I promise y'all. And don't get DP Rocker started. So, as Hen Dog was stating, now we're going to switch it. I hope that, oh, you got it, Tay Tay. So, we already have recognized what gaslighting is not. All right. We've already determined that psychologically speaking, and when I say that, I say it with intentionality, because I think, once again, a lot of these buzzwords have just went all out into the lands, and a lot of people, they have internet, they can look up AI, and then they just start labeling people when their view of it is quite tunnel. They're just seeing it from one little way. Now let's open up to what it really is. It's actually done, as our brother was saying. He used the word demeaning, right? But it's done with malice. Very seldom is the individual not aware that they are doing that with malice, y'all, when they gaslight somebody. What's up, Snoopy Matt? Blessings to you. So happy to see you. Yeah, so if I were to gaslight somebody, say we're talking and I say something, they don't agree with me, and my first thing is, you never listen to me. You just you always take things the wrong way. You always have this defensive attitude. Do you see what's happening? Do you see how I am shifting the focus to be on the person and off of me? Stay with me. I mean, because really, this damn gaslighting shit can be so deceiving and deceptive. And people can be a part of relationships and interact with people, and they may not ever realize that they are being gaslighted. They may think of it as, oh my gosh, and they start internalizing it, because that typically is the goal and objective of the person that is gaslighting. It is to remove focus from self, i.e., we use the word all the time, right? Projecting, deflecting, all of those things. To take the total focus. So say if they had done something wrong against you, you say something to them, right? And it can be in love. It can, maybe you were a little, pissed or whatever. I don't know your approach, but let's just go with a gentler way, right? And they flip it to the way where you're sitting there like, well, damn, maybe I could have approached it differently. Maybe, you see how that can happen? That's what gaslighting can do. It shifts, once again, like Hen Dog was saying. I want to say it influences the thoughts. Yeah. Now, what I will say, hen dog, is the other person is able to always have their own thoughts. What's up? How you doing? So an individual's we're all able to have our own thoughts. No one can stop us from doing that. But it's the word you use, influence. That is their goal, is to have you question that which you know is. You hearing me? No. And but see, Snoopy Mac, that's the thing. Um, like the way it is depicted. I mean, okay, have y'all ever heard someone say, hey, I'll take, a thief over a liar because a thief may be after my salary, but the liar is after my reality. Does that make sense? That is the deceptor in what they do. The deceptor, when y'all saw that on the title, the deceptor is in the individual that is intentionally trying to deceive. They are attempting to distort your reality, i.e., how Hen Dog was sharing, right? The way your thoughts are influenced. Even if your thoughts aren't distorted. Now, we can look at it on the flip side, how we look at things like personality disorders, but I don't see it the same. And the reason I do not is because several people gaslight. You see it in the workplace a lot, y'all. You see it in the workplace a lot where supervisors will gaslight their employees. I'm just giving y'all a chance to see if anything else maybe resonates as we're talking through this, y'all. Just anything that might kind of resonate for you or a question that comes to your mind. Tay, that was a good question you asked, though. That was a really good question. I got to go back to work, Queen. Just finished my break. Peace out, everyone. Blessings and love. Blessings to you, Hen Dog. I really appreciate you coming and spending time with us. I really do. All right, so let's get back to it. Now, there's a flip side to this if anyone checked out the description. If you are constantly engaging in a relationship with someone and they are exhibiting all that we just described, like I said, in order for it to be gaslighting clinically, we're going to say, I appreciate you, brother. I really appreciate you. We're going to say that it has to be 3 or more to say that it's now a pattern. If it's not 3 or more, we're not going to say it's a pattern, which means it would cancel out the whole idea of gaslighting, right? But imagine that happening so much, right? Because it doesn't happen just the first time, that someone does the gaslighting. Your thoughts don't just switch that fast, right? It's over a period of time. It's over a period of time. Now, when the individual that they are actually doing it towards, that they are gaslighting, if they are not mentally strong enough, right? Or if they are not emotionally strong enough or able to validate themselves, because that's what the person that's gaslighting you is trying to take away when we're talking about an intimate relationship. They're trying to have you question yourself so much that now you are only totally dependent on that validation externally, right? Because now you're not even trusting yourself or your own thoughts or your experiences. They have begin to strip you from, of all of that. Scary thing, y'all. But I'm hoping this is going to help you really be able to spot someone that is gaslighting you in the future, or if you ever, have it at work or with whomever. Now, I have a question for y'all. Say if this pattern that we just discussed in an intimate relationship, right? Or, like I said, with family, if it happens over a prolonged period of time, will we now not be flirting with abuse? Just listen to me. And if you can see where I'm going with that, what type of abuse? Yeah, Jose, you're right. And, that's always the hope, is that people will, like I said, be emotionally and mentally strong enough to let go of that. The truth is, a lot of people are gaslighting, they don't even know it. G Tatted Up TV, blessings to you, salute. All right, so what it can actually lead to is emotional abuse, y'all. That's what can happen. It's a type of emotional abuse when someone is constantly gaslighted. Emotional abuse is a lot tougher to see, is it not? Right? Because what do we say? It occurs over a period of time, right? It takes 3 or more times of it happening before we even determine that it's a pattern. But how long has it been going on before even the individual says anything? Think about something. Let's flip it, right? Yeah, Eric, you can see it. Yeah. Now, think about cults. Like, a cult, you've probably seen documentaries about various cults. Can you see how that at one point there was a lot of gaslighting? With everything that I just shared on the simplest understanding of what gaslighting is, exactly, DP Rocker. Just the simplest understanding. YouTube won't let you, Snoopy Matt? I don't know why. I don't know why they're doing that. I just saw what you wrote then, but I don't know why they, sometimes it's weird. But yeah, just even if you just understand, you were talking about gaslighting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, bro, why they wouldn't even let you write that. But just even if you were hearing bits and pieces of this live and you just understand the simplest meaning of gaslighting, like DP Rocker shared, yeah, you can see where at some point there was a hell of a lot of gaslighting going on, because what began to happen, the views, their experiences, all those things were in question. And therefore, the way they started seeing things were basically through the eyes of the abuser, i.e., cult leader. I hope y'all can see that connection we just made. What's up, Stormy B Man? Blessings to you. So happy to see you. Yes, Stormy. I don't know. I think, yeah, you just got in here. We had actually just broke down first, what gaslighting is not, because we see the buzzwords all the time, and it doesn't actually mean that it's true. Cults are the most toxic thing, just like tank fans, because they tip ride for an individual no matter what, not even holding them accountable. That part, I can see where one Could see that. But we would have to reach a lot to get to that, though. I got to be honest. I ain't going to lie, Eric. We would have to reach to get to that. Because that type of cult is what I truly, see more as idol worship. The true definition of a fanatic, versus, like the cults like DP Rocka was talking about, that have been in a lot of, of your what you say, TD said, not just Tank fans. Yeah, but yeah, I can't reach that far and remain clinically sound. I can't reach that far for you, Eric. It's funny though, right? And so the biggest thing is for y'all to, I don't like to stay on too long, because after things have been discussed, questions may have been asked, we've kind of processed it a little bit together, then to me, in my personal opinion, it becomes redundant. And everyone's time is valuable to me. So just a quick recap. We learned what gaslighting is not. What it is not is just because someone has a different view than yours. Okay? Just because someone says, oh, well, no, I don't agree with that. What if you saw it this way? What if you looked at it that way? Or they may say, wow, you're seeming a little sensitive today. That's not gaslighting. Okay? We are allowed to have difference of opinions, and it's not considered gaslighting. Okay? Now, then we went a step further and said, when someone is actually gaslighting, we only clinically recognize it as such if it occurs 3 or more times, because now we can say it's a pattern. If it's not a pattern, then we won't even use the verbiage gaslighting. We won't even use that clinical term. Mm-mm. So then we said, oh, what does gaslighting look like? Well, in a nutshell, it is when an individual attempts, typically it's very seldom that they are not aware and they are not having malice behind the behaviors they are exhibiting. They are typically well aware. They are doing it with malice to have you begin to question your own thoughts, your own experiences. Before you know it, it shoots down the self-esteem. And guess what? You could eventually start being emotionally abused and you don't even realize it, because now this pattern has become your routine. Y'all see how that can work? And that's why I called it, the Deceptor, because one would not see it coming. But their manipulative behaviors, they're typically aware of. They know what they're attempting to do. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary, DP Rocka, how people can just now I like that, Snoopy. Yeah, it definitely, they can do that. And it's quite scary, because what they're doing is they're having you question yourself so much, But let's take it, back to what we said, where it comes from. It starts with themselves. And that's the only way that they can feel as though they have even a chance at controlling the other individual. Does that make sense? Is to break someone down in a way mentally where you begin to question yourself, that now you are totally dependent on what they say, what they prefer, and all the above, because you don't even trust yourself, because this individual has constantly had you question so long that now you question yourself. Yeah, it's quite wild. But like I said, just in a day-to-day, even if you don't have to deal with, of course, in personal relationships, you can easily see it at work. Just now that you kind of have a better understanding, you may have already had one. I'm not saying you didn't, but just even after having this conversation, now you really will probably notice right away. You're like, oh, that was the epitome of gaslighting. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. You're just watching around and listening to the conversations, right? Yeah, yeah, and I love the way you put that. I'm hoping that this moment together has been meaningful for you. The biggest thing that I love is when y'all are able to find it meaningful, because I can sit up here all day and speak clinical jargon and drop a whole bunch of clinical terms. But if I can't make it in a way where for you personally, you can say, oh, I recognize that mess. I see it. Oh no, I already know what they're trying to do, right? Then to me, it doesn't serve purpose. I want anyone to be able to understand. What's up? How are you? So nice to see you. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you spending time with me today, coming by, sharing all of your just different perspectives, sharing experiences. Anything else before we roll out, y'all? All right. Y'all already know I can't do it for so long. I hope all of you have a beautiful, beautiful day. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I definitely look forward to seeing you all in the YouTube streets. And take care of yourself. What's up, Rich Reloaded? That's right, Snoopy Mac. Blessings to each of you. See you soon.